First, my goal was to make as much as my dad, and then it was to make more than my dad, and then it was to make more than my dad had ever made his whole life.
Oh.
For a 5-year period after I quit my job, my dad did not support. He didn't support me quitting my job.
Why not?
What are you, a gym owner? Like, he's like, you went to Vanderbilt, you were on a management consulting career, you got above Harvard's mid-score for your
You could have had an
GMATs.
incredible career.
Of course.
Right.
Gym owner doesn't sell well in cocktail parties. And so I knew that the choice for me was that I either had to die to him or I had to die to myself.
Wow.
Biggest mistake that I see young people or people who are young in the game making is that they want to become millionaires in 90 days. When most times you could guarantee that you could become a millionaire in a decade, but you have to be willing to not be a millionaire for 9 of those 10 years. And if I had everyone sign a contract that said that when they were 20, they could all be millionaires when they're 30, but no one's willing to do that. And so what happens is for the rest of their lives, they keep chasing the shiny object over and over again and keep battling the same boss and losing. Is what we repeatedly do is who we are. Like when you describe somebody, you're like, he's the type of person who X, Y, and Z's, right? Like that's how we even describe identity, is what people do. And I think a different version of happiness, in my opinion, is respect for oneself. And I think your own respect is the hardest to earn because you know how hard you could have pushed. You know if you could have gone for an extra mile, you could have showed up to the gym more times, you could have eaten better, you could have made more cold calls, you could have done more reach outs, you could have made more content, you could have actually done left a nice note for somebody on your team when you were too tired to do so. You could have over-delivered on the product, you could have made a better version of that video and you decided to put it up anyways, even though you knew it wasn't as good as it could have been. And so you make promises to yourself and then you break promises to yourself and you lose respect in the process. The nice thing is that you don't win the vote of identity all at once, it's just one vote at a time. And the beautiful thing is that you can just be like 51%, just like a vote. Like if you just do a little more, you win. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to do more than you do bad. And if you do that for a long enough period of time, like it will continue to reinforce itself. I just happen to love this. And so, and because of that, I will do it for a long period of time for more than most people and enjoy learning about it and talk to people in my free time and do everything I can because it's just the thing I like. God gave Adam work to do before he gave him a wife. Like, you got a job first, right? And so it's something that is quintessential to being human. We work. Like, the activities are the goal. Like, hard work worth doing is the goal. If that's the price I have to pay for the impact I want to have, I would do it every single day of the week. And I think that when we think about our lives in reverse, we never regret the things that we did, we regret the things we didn't do. The opportunities that we let pass by. My number one mentor is like my fictitious 85-year-old self because it's the only person that I really believe has my best interest at heart and has no ulterior motive. When I look at old people, they have really good perspectives on things, and most of them don't care about most things because they realize that life is short. And so trying to kind of project that into the present and trying to use an old man's wisdom in a young man's life is kind of my goal. I wanted the success to be unquestionable. Like it couldn't, there couldn't be a but, there couldn't be an asterisk. It had to be so undeniable. Wanting something isn't enough. A lot of people trying to ask you to justify why. Why do you want that? Why do you want to date that girl? Why do you want to start that business? Because I want it. Like, that is the reason I want it. You have to prioritize being rich, which means spending less for a long period of time because you are not valuing the opinion of other people over your own, because you respect your own approval more than that of other people. You have to be willing to die to the opinion of others rather than dying to the opinion of yourself. A desire is a contract that we make with ourselves to be unhappy until we get what we want. And so whenever we state a desire, like I want this amount of money, I want whatever, you literally sign a contract that says like, I won't be unhappy until that happens. We are all one decision away from changing our lives forever. And a lot of us don't even know it. And the difference between the decisions you make today and the ones that you made last year, if they've gotten you to where you are right now, they were not good decisions. And the thing is like, you're not trying to be necessarily right. You just want to be less wrong than you are right now. So the real question is not what do I need to do, because you already know what to do. The question is, why aren't you doing it? I knew that if I could criticize myself harder than anyone could, then if they did say anything, it was never as mean as what I would say to me. And so basically what you can do is have a certain refrain or chorus that you ask yourself, what would this type of person do? And that type of person, when you ask that question, is who you will eventually become as you continue to cast votes that reinforce the stories that we tell ourselves about who we are. And those are the things that create long-lasting, deep change. You can't let the past burn you twice. right? Which is like, if you failed in the past, if you project that failure into the present, then that past failure continues to repeat itself by you not even trying. Number of people who say, well, I tried my best. The universe doesn't give a shit. The marketplace doesn't give a shit. Your boss doesn't give a shit. What they care about is what is required. And so what you have to do is figure out what is required. And then if you are incapable of doing it, be better. And do it for long enough that it would be unreasonable for you not to be good. And then your best will surpass what is required. And you will become better in the process. I mean, at the end of the day, like this change is yours. You know, you've got to make it. And it's when the reality of the condition is real for you. When I was in my 20s, I wanted to be a millionaire. And when I was a millionaire, I wanted to be in my 20s. And so the idea that my future self would trade all the money he had to be poor in 20 again made me really reanalyze how I saw living life in the moment. If I literally in the future will value my present moment more than the achievement of the thing that I'm seeking right now in the present, then something's off. Because right now I would pay all the money I have to get 10 years back.